It's that time of the week for the nerds and the geeks. WYBNOO. What you been nerding out on? It's been a week, 7 days, and we got much to say. So take it away, no further delay.
Hello, my name is Jacob Jones, and welcome to What You Been Nerding Out On, or WYBNOO. Today I'm joined by this guy on this side. Not that I always get that wrong. Of course, Steven. But I'm joined by him, and he's really nerding out on doing impressions and voices and singing vocals in general.
Yeah, vocals, yeah.
Yeah, I think that Gage made the thumbnail for this already, and that's what he wrote, and I was like, it's kind of a good way to put it.
Solid.
Absolutely. So let's just get right into it. Who are you? Where do you come from? And what do you do?
Well, I'm Steven, aka the Singer Bro. I come from, I was born in New York. Traveled all the way here to Utah, where I've kind of lived most of my life. Went to Colorado till I was about 13 and then came back here. And I don't know, I do all kinds of shit. All kinds of things. I'm doing what we're doing right now. I was in a metal band. I've played guitar for like 20 years almost. I have a passion for doing voices and singing just whenever. As we'll kind of discuss here later in the episode. So
I think
that's me.
Usually when people ask, what do you do? I think it's supposed to mean like, what do you do for work?
What do you do for work?
Yeah.
Well, medical billing. That's what I do for work.
Super interesting. And excellent. Not what we're going to talk about, but again, the questions are always up for interpretation. But it's like when I wrote that's what I thought people would understand it to mean, and that's not what that means. To some people, it's very interesting.
How do I human is basically what I thought you meant.
Also a great way to answer it though. Just an observation for myself, and just, it's interesting when you write things down and you assume things and you realize you can't assume anything because it makes an ass out of you and me. Sir, Mr. Steven, what you been nerding out on?
Well, as the episode you have clicked on and are expecting, it is voice impressions, voice acting, anything to do with these all guys here are your vocal cords. Ever since I could make an impression of something, probably since I was maybe four years old. As long as way back then, I was trying to impersonate like the different characters on shows, and like I would see somebody like, man, that's a really cool job growing up. Like, there's no way, right? But nowadays, and it's kind of shaky, the landscape of voice acting, and at one point I did do a voice demo for Avalanche that did get rejected.
Interesting.
But it was, I'm pretty sure it was because of the quality of what I had. So yeah. That nice. So it's basically about vocal stuff, vocal impressions, things like that. That's I would say there's probably at least a good 30 a day that I do.
Nice. So, like, is there any kind of specific thing you watched that really triggered this, or you just always, like you were saying, you just have always done this? Like, was it like relatives? Were you trying to impersonate them at first? Was it always cartoons?
I think a lot of it was like cartoons, right? Just some funny, weird noises, and then obviously video games when I could play them became the thing of like, oh, how did they make that sound, or what was that thing, or who's behind that character? It was always just fascinating to me.
Like from your childhood, were there any like go-to characters or people that you would like always impersonate, they gravitate towards, like any particular cartoons Or
So so one
anything
of
like
them
that.
would be Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh,
Would be,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah, and I couldn't do what is it, Yami Yugi, the deeper voice Yugi,
Yeah, yeah.
or Seto, or any of those deeper voice characters, but I could do Mokuba, which is the younger brother for Seto, and um, so like I was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like
Nice.
heart of the cards, you know. It's like, um, it's like what the hell, dude? Just had a instant puberty
That's
from
hilarious.
a puzzle piece, but I just thought it was really cool that like, and The Simpsons was another big one that kind of like really
Mm.
got me into impressions, because I saw where it was I don't remember the voice actress's name. She does Bart. She does like a bunch of different characters in The Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I sure do. Nancy Cartwright. There you go.
Nancy, there we go.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it was just, I watched the video and I was like, damn, okay. That's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. But it is fun. I mean, I always like cartoons when I was a kid and like, voices and stuff. Like my experience with voices, I can't do a lot of voices. I mean, I could probably do a decent Arnold Schwarzenegger, something like that. But for
Yeah.
me, my power is knowing whose voice it is that I'm hearing without seeing the person. I could usually pick that out in a crowd. So it's like you have this voice power and I have this hearing power. That's kind of funny.
With our powers combined. Captain Planet.
So what about Hank Azaria? You a fan of him too?
Yeah.
Inspiring.
Yeah. I that and what was another one? There was goodness. It was the guy who does like the deep voices for no, Gollum. Gollum. What's his name?
Yeah.
Andy Serkis. Andy
Thank
Serkis
you.
was another big
Yes.
one, right?
Andy Serkis is great. Yeah.
Watching Lord of the Rings, watching the behind the scenes stuff for that was like, oh, that's not what I expected the person to look like who was doing, just like
Yeah, yeah.
really getting into it. But
He's also a
and
monkey.
then he does, yeah, he does mocap for monkeys.
Yeah.
Does he do the voice for that
Yeah.
character as well? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he was also he was Smaug from from the Hobbit movies as well.
Yeah.
The big dragon.
And then you had like Mark Hamill is another good one.
Oh, yeah.
Another good
Joker.
prolific kind of, but he does a lot of other stuff too.
He sure
right?
does,
But that
yeah.
obviously is his most famous role.
He's done characters for Adventure Time as well, which is great. I fucking love Mark Hamill.
The guy who does Bender, what's his name?
Oh,
I can't-
that's
I have the bad
Joe DiMaggio. Yeah,
Joe DiMaggio. Yes,
yeah,
another
he's great too.
really, really awesome one.
What about as far back as like Mel Blanc, man?
I would say like the earliest ones that I tried to impression were like the Ninja Turtles, the old movies. But I don't know if maybe that far back. No, actually, yeah.
This is Looney Tunes. This is like the voice of every Looney Tune, basically. I mean, yeah, look at his characters. It's insane. Mel Blanc, like, I always found him to be like really inspiring.
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them. Jetsons. He was
That's
Barney Rubble.
insane. I didn't know he did that many characters.
Oh yeah, yeah. Usually, like when you hear a voice from old cartoons, you're really hearing Mel Blanc for the most part. Not saying I would really like. I'm sure you wouldn't be impersonating his characters all the time, but like, who hasn't tried to do
but
one
Bugs
of these
Bunny was
characters?
one,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Porky Pig, obviously. Yeah.
What about Tweety, dude?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
sorry.
got it all with a putty tat. Yeah.
We're nerding out together on this one because I also love voice actors. I don't have those skills, but I'm a fan.
But yeah, it's something that I take note in now as an adult. Like, okay,
Mm.
and I have it now where I can recognize like video game voice actors pretty well, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
For who they are. But Nolan North, you've got Laura Bailey, you've
Mhm.
got freaking what's his name, who's in every
Yeah,
is it
um,
Troy Baker, who's
Troy
in
Baker. Thank you.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes it can pull me out of it just because I know, like,
Mhm.
it's you, like you're not different enough in this game or whatever. But there's a lot of
Right.
times where he does do a really good job, and
No, yeah. I mean,
that's why he gets
his
paid the good
recently
money.
with Indiana Jones, it was like
Yeah,
just really incredible. Um, impression of
that's
Indiana
good.
Jones.
Yeah, yeah. He did a really great job in that. And it was Harrison Ford was had mentioned like, yeah, I don't even need to do anything. The kid has it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he also Indiana or Harrison Ford put out a post or whatever, like in an interview talks about it, and he was saying like, see, like fuck AI, people, you don't need to, you know, do that kind of stuff. Like you can just have someone like a skilled actor impersonate me, and it's always a lot better. Um, and that is something that's kind of scary, right? And like you're talking about with voice acting and everything, and there was like all those strikes that were happening because of AI. Like it's got to be scary
Well,
out there for voice actors right now.
so yeah, so now that you mention it, right? SAG-AFTRA is on strike for a lot of projects, and I believe one I read recently was from Hades 2.
Hmm.
I think one of the voice of the goddesses, right?
Yeah.
Um, couldn't finish her lines because they couldn't come to an agreement on like I don't know, I guess AI contract terms and things like that. And so it's like
Yeah. It's no
scary,
good.
man.
It's no good. And then I've heard a lot about with anime voice actors that they've always been like not treated well at all, and underpaid for all their work. And there's so many fucking
They've
episodes of anime out there.
criminally underpaid people
Yeah.
for anime, especially. I can't imagine One Piece or Bleach, right? Those the protagonists or main cast is just
Hmm.
you know putting their heart out there, hopefully for decent money
I know,
eventually. Yeah.
but
Oh.
like I'm sure you recognize their greatness, and just all these
Mm,
people, they're very skilled. It's not easy, at all. It's
no.
like hard enough to read aloud, right? I mean, have you like what is your experience with doing any kind of vocal stuff in general?
So when it comes to, I've done quite a bit of talking in person or making speeches and things like that,
Hmm.
and doing impressions just in front of everybody, just because, right? Because it's like, oh, I heard you can do that. Do the thing now. It's like, all right, I guess. And that's kind of how it is, though. I would imagine, like, you need to do this now, but this way a little bit easier, and
Hmm.
or a little bit harder on the vocals, or you need to go up and down in pitch. And I think some of that carries between being a vocalist for a band and trying to make a track for something,
Hmm.
and you want it to fit the music, so
Yeah.
you have to adjust your voice in that way too. So not direct experience, but like surrounding experience for that.
Hmm.
I have recorded like passages of audiobooks before,
Oh,
so
nice.
um that was interesting.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
sure.
know if they ever came to light, to be honest, but like I did record them, and
Right.
I got the commission for it. But like, um,
Mm. Like
interesting stuff.
the bet like the way that because I've listened to quite a few audiobooks. The best audiobook like narrator is someone who can do like a lot of different characters with their voice. Because like if
Yeah,
it's one thing if I'm just reading aloud a book to someone, I'll try to keep it interesting, But like it takes a lot of skills to have all these characters and to kind of voice them differently so that when you are reading like the dialogue of another character or two characters talking to each other, it almost sounds like different voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so when I was listening to somebody talking about this, the person who narrated the Dark Tower series,
Nice.
they were mentioned. Was it Michael Kramer? I think was who it is. Pretty famous. Pretty famous. You would know it almost instantly if you've heard any fantasy audiobooks or whatever.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Him and his wife do like voice acting for fantasy books all over. So,
Yep.
they. So yeah. So they Kate Redding. There we go.
Wow.
But they were talking on a podcast with somebody and they had mentioned like, okay, how are you keeping track of all these different characters in your head of like what voices and things like that? And they're like, we have to listen back to what it was because if it's a bigger book, you're not going to record different lines, or maybe you'll record all of those lines in sequence, right?
Yeah.
If they have it all written, right? So you'll record all those lines in sequence and then that'll be it. And so you'll be recording different characters in a row and not necessarily the whole book straight through, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting and totally makes sense, right? Because you're okay. So we need this voice through here or this passage. They'll have them read this passage and then skip ahead, then read the next passage with that so that it kind of stays consistent, right?
Yeah. 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 That's got to be trippy because it's like, how would you keep track of the way that the voice sounds if you were trying to jump between a bunch of voices like that? I guess that could be really confusing. So yeah, you just stay in that specific voice and read the lines you need until you're done, and then go to the next voice. Right? That makes sense.
And I'm sure you can hop between it too, but it would be
Right.
much more challenging, right?
Yeah, that's if you're reading, like live or something like that, right? But then there's also audiobooks that have like a full cast of characters. Like there's a narrator, but then a full cast for each character, almost like a play.
Like an audio production play. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like those ones better personally because it
Yeah.
adds more flavor to it.
Yeah, that's how I got through what's that book? American Gods is produced that way, and it's a really good fucking audiobook. And I don't know, I still liked it better than the show. The show still was cool to see from the parts that I watched, but I digress, sir. Let's talk more about what you're doing, or what you want to do, or how like impressions works, and maybe your vocal techniques. So let's first start with how do you care for your throat? Like, is it willy nilly? Do you just do anything
So it depends
special?
if when I was in a band or when I was doing heavy vocal work, it was tea and honey. It was warm shower first, right? It was Z's, and because I would do fry vocals, right? So you go to stress the throat, and so it's not from 0 to 100 immediately. For voice acting and stuff, it's just it would be something as simple as taking one word that you can do good as whoever it is, or whatever character you're trying to do, and expound from that at that point.
So like a lot of practice.
It's a lot of practice, yeah. As with any other craft, right? I would assume that you don't just get it right off the bat, right? So
Right.
Yeah,
I think people think that, like, just as much as with singing, like, people are like, well, you either have that skill or you don't, which maybe in some cases is sort of true, based on your capabilities, but, everything takes practice, right?
I think technique can be taught to anybody. Anybody willing to practice. It's just like it's like drawing. I think people can learn realism, and people can really, really dig into that with enough practice. But when it comes to like finding your own style, that is inherent. I feel like that's something that comes through when you apply the techniques that you've learned to your own thing, right? And I think that's personally for me where art and artistry shines through. Same with voice acting, right? You can
Yeah.
do impressions and find the techniques from the impressions and things like that, but make your own and forge your own path from that. That's really important. So
Yeah. I think I watched a documentary or a video once where Billy West was talking about like his technique, and it was really interesting because all of his characters, lots of them. He's a guy from Ren and Stimpy, but he's also
yeah,
the Red M&M, and he's also the fucking the honeycomb bee, and you know what I'm saying, like. He's a lot of stuff, but he's like, well, I do a voice like, and then he names this old, because he's, you know, it's an older guy. He names like an older actor from like back when he was a kid. And he's like, I sort of do it like this, but then I kind of put this accent on it. And it's all the foundation of, you know, trying to sound like this guy or this accent and then, you know, doing his own thing with it. Or melding two things together, right?
well, that's what Joe DiMaggio said he was doing as well for Futurama, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like some places are harder than others, because I'm doing this and then another thing on top of that to get what I need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane. It's not easy, you know. And you got to have the balls to stick with the voice too. You know, longer
You just
than
send it,
5
dude.
minutes. You're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm back to my voice.
Yeah, it's
great.
and so I used to do personal streams where I would have Morgan Freeman's cut out
Mm-hmm.
like just the lips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh and it would do something like, I am God, Bruce. And then it'd be like
Mm-hmm.
I would just do different things and people I would read chat and talk to people in chat that way. And it's just fun for me as
Mm-hmm.
something I can do. Uh I don't know. And I would want to do it as a job, but then I'm like, okay, would it take the fun out of it at that point?
I mean,
Would
that's always the concern for sure with everything, right? But I don't know. I mean, wouldn't it be fun?
I think it could still be fun at the end of I could just do. My son was mentioning recently. He was like, "How did you do the voices so good for Joker and Batman?" I'm like, it's not that. It's just it's practice. I told him, I said, you just gotta take something they say that catches with you, and then
Mm-hmm.
just practice saying that in different ways. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, so let's get into the actual execution and some of
yeah,
your skills. You know what I'm saying? So like cuz I mean we could I'm pretty sure we covered a lot of the things I would normally ask. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I think it and just like with Gage with the knitting episode, there was a point in time where I was like, all right, now show me some fucking knitting. So for you,
Yeah.
show like, okay, we all know you could do Morgan Freeman, which is
Yeah.
great, and we should hear some of that. My question is there like a before we get into that, is there sort of like a lorem ipsum style script that you can just read like in different voices that you know what I mean is dynamic enough to showcase
Ooh,
voices or something
ooh.
like that? Like, do you know anything
I would
like
have
that
to
for a
pull up
sampling?
something for that. Like, I would have to pull up like a little script.
Yeah.
Uh, you could even pull up a paragraph of something and then share it, and I could read that in
Let's
different
see.
like.
Basic voice acting script for demos. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Voice over sample scripts.
ooh, here we go.
There you go. Sample scripts. If I can find any.
This is basically what I
Voice
was doing
acting
for
sample script.
demo.
Yeah, that's what I was asking too. Is like what were you actually doing for that?
So there was an old man, there was a British accent, there was
Mm-hmm.
different accents through that. There's a taking my voice up higher, there's creature sounds, there's
Mm-hmm.
just all over the place, really.
Nice. I'm going to throw your camera off here, and they might see some
Throw it
text. but it's because I want to throw. Oh yeah, you can see my Pizza Sword logo in there, in a screenshot.
Pizza
I just sent you a from EdgeStudio.com some scripts.
All right.
So you can find one.
In a DM.
It's in the actual chat for this channel, for the Discord
For
voice
this
channel.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
All
this is
right,
kind of
let's-
interesting. You know, like I forgot that I saw these before, or something like this. But there's like a lot of different scripts in here, right? And basically, each one kind of gives you a different vibe. A lot of them are pulled from books and stuff. Oh, look at this one. Nicktoons Next Tough Puppy Bumper. I'll pull it up on the screen too. Look at this shit. Oh, here we go. Top 10 scripts from Edge Studios voiceover script library. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim opening dialogue.
wait. Yeah, where's that one? I want to
Rorikstead.
Rorikstead.
It was somewhere. I clicked on a script and it brought that up.
Oh shit.
That's awesome. Oh, I see. It's a really short script. It just every dog has his day, and this one has his own TV show. What the fuck? That's weird. I see
So
Cherry in
these,
the chat. What up?
One-liners? It seems like
Not all of them
I'm
are.
trying to
Like some of them are like full lines. But yeah, this is really interesting. Like I never really thought of it that much, but I do remember actually doing this research in the past. I think when we did an episode of Neon Pocket Dimension about voice acting, had our buddy Jimmy on here.
I'll do the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
I'll read the one that pops up here on the top left.
Nice.
So we'll start with Morgan Freeman and go.
Okay.
You are a member of a space crew originally scheduled to rendezvous with a mothership on the lighted surface of the moon. However, due to mechanical difficulties, and then I'll switch to Batman here. Your ship was forced to land at a spot some 200 miles from the rendezvous point. And then we'll do Gollum from here a little bit. During the entry and landing, much of the equipment aboard was damaged.
Nice.
And I'll finish it out with a little bit of what else? We can do.
Why don't you try an accent?
Yeah, we'll do Scottish.
Okay.
Since survival depends on reaching the mothership, the most critical items available must be chosen for the 200-mile trip. Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Nice. I like that.
So, yeah, it's swapping between the two, and obviously it helps to have like direction of like what you're gonna do or a plan when you go in. But that's kind of what you would do. You would read that in one way, and then you'd read it in another way, or you'd switch through, right? And then you'd send that, have like a list of different ones from different things, different media, and you send it over. In that case, it would have been 5 games, take some lines from different games and do them in your own voices and stuff. So, yeah, and there's more than that. It's like you've got action sounds for video games, like they do emphasis, like, you know.
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah, I always think of those, dude. Like what is that recording process?
You know, and then they're just saying yeah, they're saying that's like one of the harder parts of doing VO for video games is like all the different ones are like, okay, now heavy strike. You know,
you got to get several variations of those too, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if they hand them like a stick and have them like smack something. You know what I mean?
For a lot of them, they integrate the mocap suit and the voice themselves too. So
okay, so they are like, it's like they are actually acting.
It's like they're actually acting in like, at least in bigger production ones like Troy Baker and a lot of them. They do a lot of mocap when it comes to it. At the very least on the face, right? They're putting the facial capture and things like that, which I found really cool, especially way back when I saw it with Andy Serkis. I was like, the fuck on his face, right? just the little orbs for them to for the animators to use it to model the speech. So
Yeah, it must be more difficult for like an anime voice actor because, there is no mocap. I mean, and just in general, like there's a lot of weird noises in anime. In fact, there's an entire subreddit called Anime Noises, which is really funny. But
just stuff like that.
well,
right?
it's like there's a lot of shots of anime where it's like someone's nervous or like something bad's about to happen, and so it cuts to like a character and they're sort of like quivering, and so in real life you probably wouldn't make any noise, but in Japan and in anime, when they cut to this person, they're like,
yeah.
or like, okay. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like,
and it's like, and it's just they're
why are you making
just
noise?
sitting there. It's like they're sitting there and they're nervous.
Or they have the head narration thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's that's them just talking, but just
I know. I just say it's just because it's got
Yeah,
the kind of reverb in it, right? Where
right.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I should have charged my blade earlier, but I couldn't charge my blade earlier. Oh, hold on, I don't have I'm not controlling I have reverb on the mic. Remember, I could have just done it right
If
now.
I was gonna say, if I don't keep this up, I'm gonna lose really quick.
I was just watching One Piece, and the line from Luffy was like, I need 10 minutes for my hockey to get back. This is bad. What do I do? And in the show, his mouth is closed, and the reverb just means that's his inner dialogue, of course. But it's just
Well,
it's
I think it's
honestly the
interesting
action
to do.
scenes that are really must be difficult, right?
Yeah. Just
what would be your process if I was like, okay, you're the main character of my video game. We're not doing mocap. It's an indie game, so it's just it's stock animations. I just need you to like, okay, heavy attacks, light attacks. There's also a kick. What would you do? Like, what would your process be?
I think I'd actually do the actions even in the recording studio, just like to a lesser extent, right? Like,
right.
I don't feel like there's a better way to do that and not have it sound genuine.
Yeah.
Because you can try, right? You can go, like
yeah. Ha!
But you might as well go, and throw into it, right? Like
actually punch, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I'm guessing that would be how they would do it. I've seen even in animation stuff where it's 2D animation and they've had to do it, like they're often doing the things that the characters would be doing with their hands or something in that moment to kind of get into it. So
to really get into character. That's cool. That's interesting. I mean, like when Sean Schemmel, or however you pronounce his name, as Goku is charging up, I mean, he's pretty much charging up in person. He's like in a sound studio going, ah! Ah! Like straight up.
Yeah.
Power to
do you
them,
think
man.
do you think
Crazy.
they have like, you got to imagine their voice is probably fried after a session.
Oh yeah.
Like
They gotta be yeah. They gotta be drinking tea with lemon all the time, these guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, after years of doing it, I'm sure that you build up that muscle or whatever. But
Yeah.
I would probably struggle going into a booth doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Impressions, sure, but like it would take a while to get used to that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it seems really intense. I mean, just acting in general is intense, obviously, because there's so much that you have to think about, because you're, in person, in the correct, doing the correct thing toward the camera in the correct way, while also remembering all those lines and speaking a certain way, acting a certain way. Like, at least in the booth, you're not being filmed, but it's like, I would almost think it might be even more intense in ways because you're just in the booth. I feel like more is expected of you.
Sure.
Excuse me.
And oftentimes they'll have it running in the background, whatever animation or whatever,
Yeah.
for them to reference while they're doing it. It's always better to have the reference for sure. So they'll have like, here's this scene, we're gonna hit play and you're gonna read live as that's playing, kind of thing. Kind of sync up a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They all have different processes when it comes to different animation studios have different processes, and video games are completely different too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I would encourage anybody who has not looked up a behind the scenes for mocap or recording, just give one of like your favorite games if they have a behind the scenes, like Hellblade.
Oh yeah.
Look at the behind the scenes for that. It's a really
that's
great
insane.
example of essentially acting, really. I like, that's so close to actual acting that I don't know, like,
Yeah. What's the difference?
because she looks so realistic in the game. And it is just that character focus thing, right? Yeah, see, she's doing mocap as well, right? Like, which I find incredible. Like, not only do you have that, you're also doing the physical stuff too. All the points for her, all the points. Every award she won, she deserves for sure.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, she killed it.
Melina Jurgens, I think her name is.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's aggressively Viking.
And then
stuff.
that really gravelly voice. I can't remember his name ever.
Oh yeah, it's not
Senua. You know, like,
it's not the guy from The Witch and shit. It's like a whole ass other guy
yeah,
that worked on this.
But
yeah, definitely.
I
an
love his
intense
voice.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, it's like almost hard to listen to his voice, but that's like really a human's voice, which is insane. Insane to me.
He just talks like that too. That's the thing.
Yeah. Sounds like a guy who's burp talking. Almost.
Yeah.
Only way better.
Like, he's got gravel in his throat actually when he's talking to you.
I feel like I have a fry right now. It's ridiculous. Allergies are starting to peak up right now.
Another example I wanted to point out that I really liked was the show Metalocalypse. I don't know
Oh,
if you remember
fucking
that.
love. I mean, of course I remember that, dude. I have the vinyl of the Death album too. But a lot of this is what is his name? Fucking Brendan Small.
Brendan Small. Yep.
He does multiple voices on this show.
Yep. Which I thought was really cool too, right? Like I don't know. That show's just hilarious, first of all.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be what it is without the voices that he does. So
yeah, but what's so great about Brendan Small is not only just the voices, the fact that it's like a band. You know, it's like the music he's writing. He's playing the music himself with the band. He's also singing the music as the lead singer and doing the lead singer's voice. And he's what? Pickles. And
Pickles, yeah.
Yeah. What's the other guy? Fucking, I can't remember his name, but the
was
bassist.
it?
The bassist.
Yeah.
He does that voice too. I know that much. I can't. It's been a while.
I gotta remember that.
I want to go through
it has
and
been a
watch
while.
a show
That's
again.
an older show. Now it's just crazy to say, but
Yeah.
that's an older show. Anyways.
Oh, I know. We're getting old, dude.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, Nathan Explosion, Squigar, Squig Elf, Pickles the drummer, are the three characters he plays. But William Murderface, yeah, Tommy Blatcha does Toki Wartooth and William Murderface. Yep. And then the fact that Mark Hamill was on that show too, as just a regular character was really
he
awesome
the clown in that? Like,
no, Tommy Blatcha was also Dr. Roxo. Mark Hamill is Senator Stampingston.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know, like at the beginning of every episode, there's like a guy talking to everyone about like what's going on and shit. Like that's him. That's Mark Hamill. You know, so he was always a big part of this, but then he was also like other characters too, of course.
He's in so many things too, Mark Hamill's voice. That's
he
insane.
he's incredible. I was just thinking about him today too. I'm like, Luke Skywalker, iconic character, but these
Yeah.
days I feel like Mark Hamill is just such a prolific voice actor that it's insane to me. Like people, like of course people know and always point to the Joker, but like just look at this, right? I'm just gonna scroll down. Here's all of just the
He's got
random
quite the
characters he
career.
is on tons of shows, like kid shows that I never saw. Look, he was this weird guy, this Skips guy on regular show. I had
fucking
no
love
idea.
that show, and I had no idea he was Skips either.
Yeah, he's Skips. And look, all the characters he is on regular show, which is a shit ton.
What
Look at
the
he's done that.
fuck?
Yeah, it's insane.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah, obviously he played, Luke Skywalker and Robot Chicken Star Wars. That's obvious.
Oh my
But yeah,
god.
see, here's the
No.
characters he played in Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So like the bad dudes essentially.
Yeah, but he's got one of those voices,
He does. But he has incredible range too. That's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Man.
he's just really
yeah,
good.
people like that are just like they inspire me to like, oh, maybe I do record another demo one time. Maybe I do now that I have like a proper mic and setup, just really dig into that and
You could.
ask my audio production buddy here for mixing techniques, right?
I could just mix it for you. I mean,
It's true.
yeah, see, like it's good that you know how to do voices and that I am a producer, so it works.
And the funny thing is like the two never connected in my head until right when you said that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
right, that's
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm producing the show now and I do edit things and stuff, but like, I could straight up produce music as well. People forget that because
Yeah.
I don't do it much, but I'm gonna do more this year. Mark my words. So we kind of hit on most of my questions, most of the things I would have asked here. Like normally I'll say something like, "What don't you like about this?" But we talked about that. They're underpaid and they're striking.
They're
and
underpaid and
AI
is the problem.
all that stuff. So we don't need those bad vibes. We've already kind of hit those bad vibes. Instead, what do you think is the most complicated thing about voice acting in general, or doing vocal stuff? Yeah.
I would say if it's voice acting, it's networking and finding the right path to get there. As it is, it seems there's so many different channels that you have to go through to even get to the demo stage, let alone getting the experience that people might want for future gigs, right? It's like, how can you get the experience without having the experience? Just like, I guess, breaking into any career, like that would probably be the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because if you got the skills, you got the skills, but finding a job is not always, and in rare cases, easy, right? So,
Yeah.
gig work, obviously, Fiverr, Upwork, things like that, do help to kind of break into and get the chops and stuff under your belt, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, coming from someone who's not landed a gig yet, but
Right.
I have applied for a few, right? I know kind of the process, although I don't know now. It could be different, right? This was like 4 years ago, so
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Who knows? So what do you think is next for you with this? I mean, and that could be with music as well as, or singing as
Yeah.
well as voice acting.
So yeah, I do want to get back into recording vocals in some manner, whether it be audio narration, which I've looked into seriously, being a thing, just because it's kind of like mellow starter, like lower stakes input for like that kind of stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we need you to read this historical novel or something like that, right? Where it's not going to be bunch of different characters and things like that. stuff like that. And I know at some point I will make another demo to stage and give to a video game company or something
Mm-hmm.
to like, or like a studio would be really cool. But having the connections to even do that for some places is damn near impossible, it seems.
Yeah.
Unless you know people already. But I
Yeah.
guess that's just part of and what we do anyways. Networking is an important part of that too. So
True. Yeah.
maybe that'll just come. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll meet somebody on the old internet here that will know somebody else, and who
Mhm.
knows, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But
you can only just keep at it and put yourself
yeah,
out there. I feel like a lot of these voice actors that like I come across in general are just really putting themselves out there on TikTok and YouTube and stuff, and
yeah,
doing like, oh, here's me doing 100 characters in 20 minutes, or blah blah blah, like shit like that. I think that's kind of what it
and
would
that's not,
take these days.
that's a portfolio and demo you can just submit and be like,
Yeah.
look, I have links here or this, and there's a whole list of different roles or things that I did. So
Yeah.
um,
And with our content, we're starting to step up like the creative stuff. We got something in the
well,
works that I'm going to finish my part
the
of
project in the works.
this
Yeah,
this weekend.
well, that one, but also I think
Oh yeah, that's
people
the
should
big
keep an
one.
eye out for AWE,
Yeah, yeah, it's coming.
where I could maybe put in some work vocally too.
Yep,
That would be interesting.
100%. Yeah, that was my thought too. It's like the fusion of like us trying to do improv and you being able to like make up these crazy characters will be a fun
Yeah.
time, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which you guys will find out later with this, but that's just a tease as to what we're working on. But yeah, we're excited to do more creative things here at Odd Valley Studios, all the content we do. And of course, I'm surrounded by talent, Like I said, Gage is he's the artist. I'm the
He is the
producer.
artist.
Miguel's just a badass. And you
He is like, he's the reality check that we all fucking need, dude.
yeah, he's the adult
he's
in the
funny.
room, I feel like.
Right? He's funny as
No, he's hilarious. Of course, we all are great at what we do, but I'm saying like our strong point for you, I've always said you're the talent, which is true. Which is true. Yeah, with all your crazy voices and stuff. So yeah, absolutely great time. And then, we didn't really discuss this. We sort of discussed this a little bit earlier, but do you have any advice to anyone who is interested in trying to like do voices or accents, even if they're just doing it for fun? Like, what do you think is an easy way to like, get over the anxiety or fear of doing a voice in public or public speaking, or trying to learn how to do voices and have fun with that and stuff? Like, what was your advice for a newcomer?
So exposure is going to be critical, right? And you start small. You start with, if you have a pet, do it to your pet, right? Talk at your pet. Do an impression of whatever it is, or the voice, or whatever speech you're doing, whatever it is to your pet. Do that until it becomes, you're tired of it. You're annoyed, right? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Give it a day. You're like, okay, now try it with an actual human, right? Someone close to you, someone who you trust and who's not really gonna make fun of you or whatever it is, right? If you what your fear is that they would do, right? Most cases people won't. They'll hear you out and they'll play along. I've found out, at least, right? Yeah, it's just really exposure. You just try. Like, when it comes to technique, it's finding the one word or one phrase that you can link everything else to. And then I find it a good way to try to sing as those characters, which then becomes a challenge, right? Because if you can sing as whatever character it is, you can pretty much do whatever else in their vocal range that you need to do, I find. Yeah. It's just literally just a practicing, right? It's like they tell you with art, like, oh, sketching. Okay, just start drawing. Just get to it, pen to paper, right? Just when you're walking around the house, I don't know, make an impression like I do. Like the people look at you strange, but that's fine.
That's great.
We don't worry about such things here. And then you just walk on. But yeah, I mean, it sounds generic because it is generic. Practice does make perfect, and embrace your imperfections in your voice too. I think a lot of people shy away from, and especially vocalists shy away from the imperfections in their voice, like the squeaks or the things like that. But oftentimes that's what characterizes you. So
that's what makes you unique, and that's why you want to hear someone over someone else. If everyone had the same voice, I wouldn't care. Then you could just Microsoft Sam says hello. Yeah, Naruto.
Could I help you?
Naruto.
No, Clippy, go away.
Get you. Oh, Clippy. Why would Clippy have Microsoft Sam's voice? That would
now because Clippy came back, right?
He's back.
AI stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. We got to get out of here before
Clippy
I hear
is
more
a
about
nightmare.
this. Is there something that you forgot, partner? Get the fuck out of here, Clippy.
Yeah, I think he would have like an old Western voice. Like, feel like there might be something in your grammar you forgot.
Clippy, no!
You got to really dig in there.
Clippy, put the belt down.
Get your ass back here.
Ah! He's dragging me with his various clips. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of that. Good times, man. Good times. Thank you so much for being my guest today. Third episode of WYBNOO. What you been nerding out on? Definitely fun. Again, like I said, we're working on something, so you'll be able to hear his voices in some way, and we'll be able to put your credits on something. You know what I mean? We're looking forward to that.
Fun.
But besides that, do you have anything that you want the people to know, and like you want? Because I'll just do the standard plugs. You got any?
Oh yeah. I'm just the singer bro on everything.
Okay.
YouTube. I think X, Twitter. I don't have a Blue Sky yet, but maybe I'll get one at one point. I'm just not very active on socials that much.
Yeah.
Discord's kind of my main thing, and obviously we have a Discord. You should join it. Odd Valley Studios. We'll put the link in our description for you to join.
Sure.
So
We'll put the Discord. First time we've done that. I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
You'll do it this time. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've done a lot of work on that Discord, getting it ready for people we don't know to join to see how things go. So you'll find it below. Thank you so much for watching. Again, Steven, thank you for being here. Looking forward to the future, buddy. 2025 might have some downs, but there's some ups too. So, let's just try to make it a good year, at least with the bullshit we'll do.
We'll make some fun distractions for the people.
Absolutely. So yeah, Neon Pocket Dimension, that's where you're at right now. If you're watching live, you can check us out, youtube.com/@Neon Pocket Dimension. If you're not watching live and you're watching it on that YouTube channel, you could watch us record shit live, twitch.tv/Neon Pocket Dimension. Typically Wednesdays and or Thursday nights at around 7 Pacific time. Also, don't forget, tomorrow we're doing a new if you're watching on YouTube tonight, we're doing a new Odd Valley Tavern, all about cocktails. So that's me, Mochi Squeeze, and of course Miguel from our content. You may know him from our various shows and stuff. We are going to all bring a cocktail and make it for all of us one by one, and then drink them and get trashed and still play the game where we hit the bell every time a certain word said, all that craziness. And then, we're just going to talk about the cocktails themselves, how they're like the history of them, and just kind of just cocktails. It's cocktail night. Be there. Drink along.
Just do me a favor, watch and listen to it, and just sip along and see how long you can last. That's that's half of the fun of it too for me. So
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna be cray cray. Also, don't forget Neon Gaming Dimension. That's our last spots. YouTube.com/@neon gaming dimension. Next week, Steam Next Fest happens, and I will be covering as many demos as I possibly can with the amount of nights I have. So, come back next week to watch me stream like pretty much every fucking weekday. It's going to be a crazy week. But we did just talk about Elden Ring, Night Rain, and there's a couple other videos. 5-Minute Gamers back. So check all that shit out. Man, we got a lot happening. Every week we're dropping like 3 videos. It's kind of crazy. So I hope you can subscribe to us on YouTube so you can maybe see some of those videos. We love it. And then of course with the show.
oh, yeah.
All right, we're gonna get the hell out of here, Steven. So why don't you leave us with one last phrase from a voice we haven't heard yet.
Voice you haven't heard yet.
Yes,
I
tonight.
guess we could do Joker.
Okay, all right.
What is come here, Holly. Bring me the medication.
That's what we're leading out with.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
do that one.
See you later.